The number one overall recruiting class is in Norman as classes start this week. So let's get to know each of the 8 freshman newcomers a little bit better with thoughts from Patty Gasso, their high school coaches, and myself on what the big strengths are for each player. Now, as we go through this, it's going to become pretty clear why the 2024 class was ranked by several services as the number one class. This is a complete class with all 8 players ranked in the top 21 according to Extra Inning Softball. It's easy to see why everyone, including the coaching staff, is so high on this 2024 class. Let's start in alphabetical order and begin with Sydney Barker, a middle infielder from Rockland, California. Extra Inning Softball has her ranked as the number 4 overall player in the 2024 class. Patty said back on signing day that when she first saw Barker play, her actions on defense immediately stood out. That's a really good start for someone who could be a multi-year starter at shortstop for this program. At the plate, Patty said there's going to be a lot of power from her, so that's exciting, right? A really good defensive shortstop that can hit the ball a ton. You can always find a spot in the order for a player like that. And even more so if they're a great leader, and according to her high school coach at Rockland High School, that's absolutely the case. Jim Alban emailed me and said, "We are all excited to see Sydney grow with Oklahoma under Coach Gasso and her staff. Besides all the awards and accolades, Sydney is a true leader in the dugout, on the field, during the game, by example, you name it. She makes everyone on the team better. Sydney is like having another coach on the field. Always vocal on the field, encouraging to all teammates, takes extra time to work after practice, either on her own or with teammates, leaves everything on the field every game. Always working to improve her game, gym work, extra training, extra practice, etc. Sydney is an absolute competitor. From the first pitch to the last, you always know you're getting her best effort. Most importantly, she's just a great person with a great and supportive family behind her. Member of the Rockland High Hall of Fame. She's already a Hall of Famer at her high school. Are you kidding me? So what do you need to know about Sydney Barker after all of that? Well, guys, she can hit, she can defend, and she's an incredible leader as well, apparently. And I would bet that there's some other elements to her game that we're really going to like in fall ball that we can add to that list. She also played basketball and volleyball in high school, so she's a super athletic kid that thrived in multiple sports, which is something that you really, really like. I like Sydney Barker. The rankings like Sydney Barker. A lot to like there. Feels like a real complete player with a lot of great leadership skills. Welcome to the show, Sydney Barker. Next up is Gabby Garcia, a middle infielder from Chandler, Arizona. She was ranked as the number 8 player by Extra Inning Softball. Her mom played at Arizona State and is actually in the Softball Hall of Fame at ASU. So the bloodline is there, and that's a trend that you're going to see with a lot of these players. Patty Gasso, when talking about Gabriela Garcia on signing day, said, "You can see Gabby's natural athleticism and fuel for the game coming from her parents. I've seen her hit it over the fence. I've seen her drop down a bunt. I've seen her be very clutch at the plate. She enjoys those big moments. She's also a tremendous 2-sport athlete. She could have a future as an Olympic candidate in the javelin and is extremely disciplined in balancing her time between academic softball and track and field. She's very mature for her age and her ability to take care of what she needs to in order to be successful." Dang, so Gabby Garcia could win a national championship and then maybe even an Olympic medal someday? Insane. But a great high school player at Basha and a great player for the Batbusters in summer ball. Just so smooth defensively. She's an athlete, yes, but just so smooth on the infield. And can really do anything at the plate that you need. What I like about her is it's not all or nothing with the power. Like Patty said, you can count on her to get a bunt down, and not just in a sacrifice situation, but one where she can bunt for a base hit as well. It doesn't seem like there's anything that she can't do at the plate. Her head coach at Basha, Kaylee Pomeroy, and a big shout out, by the way, to all the coaches that were able to get back with me on quotes about their players. Pomeroy said this: "Gabby is phenomenal. I think a lot of people underestimate the time that is put in to be able to play at a school as distinguished as OU. I can 100% attest to the dedication and time that Gabby put in, not only while she was at Basha, but the time she spent out of school hours in the gym, taking extra reps on the field, and even making sure her body was taken care of with PT. She was one of our biggest voices, not only as a leader during games, but as someone that was genuinely excited for every athlete on our team that truly would have done whatever it takes to help the team win. I cannot tell you how many times she would see something that no one else would see and stretch a single into a double or take an extra base because of somebody else out of position. I think that is probably one of her greatest strengths. And then paired with her athleticism, I think she's going to be detrimental offensively and defensively She's the type of player that all coaches want to coach, and we are definitely extremely proud that she was a Bear. So a couple of takeaways there. Coach Pomeroy using the word detrimental to describe her offense and defense gets me pretty fired up. I don't know about the rest of you. She could have used any word, and she found the exact one to get me and probably even you even more excited about what Gabriella is going to bring to this team. Her high school coach thinks that she's going to cause a lot of harm to other teams, and I am absolutely here for that. And when you watch her game and you look at the stats and you see all the accolades, I think it's a really good word to use to describe what kind of softball player that she is. But more than anything, I love the fact that she's a player that's always looking to take the extra base. That to me is exactly what you want to hear about a player that was looked at as one of the best players in the country. She's so talented, she could have gotten by with just pure talent alone, but she's one of those gritty players we've seen in this program for so long. And I guarantee you that Patty and JT love that. Talented enough to make an impact, but gritty enough to get dirty and do the thing it takes to elevate herself to that next level. I love the sound of that. Welcome to the show, Gabriella Garcia. Next up is Cheney Hilton of Coweta, Oklahoma, one of the 2 Oklahoma kids in this class. The number 11 player according to Extra Innings, and she is fast. Patty said she's a triple threat, tremendous speed. She can lay down a bunt. She can hit it out of the park. I've seen her do it all. She's very versatile, very comfortable, and speedy in the outfield. She's a wonderful addition. Her energy is at a different level. Cheney exemplifies the abundant passion for the game this class brings to Norm. She's a kid that always grew up wanting to play at OU, so immediately that makes you a fan of her. She's getting to live out her dream, and she brings along a lot of game as well. I think Cheney Hilton exemplifies this, but it's so common with every freshman on this team. They're so good in so many different ways. There isn't just one reason why they were highly ranked. Cheney can run at the plate, in the outfield, and have several tools to hurt you on offense. Here's what her high school coach, Blake Dunn, said to me. Ever since Cheney joined our softball program as a 7th grader, you can instantly tell that she had overwhelming potential to be phenomenal. As a natural-born leader, Cheney brings everyone up to her level of competition and pushes her teammates to be better. When she's in the outfield, she always has a chance to make a play, no matter where or how hard the ball is hit. She can fly on the bases and is an absolute offensive weapon. She can bunt for a hit, beat out ground balls, and hit for power. One thing that makes her stand out from the rest is that she has always been very self-motivated. She isn't one you need to tell to do extra work. She does that herself, whether it's in the weight room or working on her softball skills. Cheney understands the importance of doing the little things right, and in return was a huge pillar in the success of our program. You guys see a theme so far? Patty looks for a certain type of player. She wants you to be talented, of course, but one that's also a leader, brings energy, very mature for their age, can do all of the little things, the extra things, and doesn't need to be pushed to do extra work. That's the type of player she wants, and that's the type of player that, frankly, she gets. Cheney Hilton is exactly that, in my opinion. You get a highly talented player that really pushes herself to be great, and now she gets to live out her dream. I can't sit here today and guarantee you that Cheney Hilton's going to be an All-American. But from the sound of it, she'll be a player that will do everything necessary to ensure she's the best possible player at the University of Oklahoma. And that gets me excited because way more times than not, it ends up working out for someone that has the talent, but they also have the attitude to match it. Welcome to the show, Cheney Hilton. Next up is Corey Hicks, a first baseman and catcher from San Jose, California, and the number 7 player by Extra Innings. She was a PGF All-American as well. I mean, we're talking about a very special player here. Dad was a captain on the basketball team when he played at Oregon. So here is another player whose parents were incredibly gifted athletically. And here's what Patty said about Hicks. Her physical presence is just different. She's tall, lanky, and has great upside to become an elite hitter in the college ranks. I think our strength program is going to change her world. Surrounding her with elite athletes will push her to be great. She's very good behind the plate, has a great arm, and can throw anybody out. She's really quick with her releases. I see a great future for her here in Oklahoma. She comes from an athletic family and has tremendous potential to unlock. So let me state something obvious here. Patty Gasso knows power hitters. She's coached more than a few elite power hitters. She's had the home run queen in her career twice. So if Patty's saying that Corey Hicks has great upside to be an elite hitter at this level, yeah, I'm going to listen to her And I love the comment that her physical presence is just different. So in fall ball, yeah, I want to see what she looks like defensively, of course. But I'd love to see some of that power go to work. The more she gets in the strength program, I think the more that's probably going to shine. And that's exciting because you can see the potential with Corey Hicks. But if she makes the strides in the strength program, if she dedicates herself to that, she'll really be someone with a physical presence in this sport that's unmatched. She's another bat buster on this roster, and it really feels like power and defense are the two words that probably best describe her right now, which are two very good things. And if you were to tell me that in 2 years' time, a player from this class is going to lead the SEC in home runs, I'm taking Hicks on that. You know, you go back and watch some of her highlights, and of course, I expected to see home runs. That's what a highlight reel is for. But even while watching it, she hit some balls that made me say, like, wow, okay. Balls to straightaway center that were no doubters. You can easily see the natural power that she has. So when she hits home runs in her career, they won't be wind balls that barely get over the left field bleachers. No. They're going to be absolute tanks to center field, over the center field bleachers, over the left field bleachers. She's really incredible, and so much to like with the power and even the potential power that still hasn't been unlocked just yet. Watching her hit, I think, is going to be a lot of fun, and I think that she can help this team immediately at the plate. Welcome to the show, Corey Hicks. Next up is Audrey Lowry, a pitcher out of Pittsburgh, Indiana, and the highest-ranked player in the class with a number 2 overall ranking by extra innings. Indiana Gatorade Player of the Year, and just a dominant pitcher. Patty said this: Audrey's been coming to camp for a long time, so we've been able to see her grow into becoming one of the best pitchers out there in the 2024 class. Our strength program will help her. I've already seen her grow and get stronger. I'm so anxious for her to begin working with Coach Rocha and be surrounded with the other elite athletes on our pitching staff. I think we'll see her go to another level collegiately. Lowry is one of those coming in with very high expectations because you just have the feeling that she could be special. Just a dominant left-handed pitcher, and coaches in the area of her high school have said that she's the best that they've seen in multiple years of coaching, decades of coaching, and some in that area think, maybe all in that area think, that she's the best that they've ever seen. Great command, deadly rise ball, devastating changeup. She's got all the tools to be great, guys, and I can't wait to see what she looks like immediately in fall ball against a bunch of really good hitters and a really good offense. Her coach, Mike Miller, said Audrey is an exceptional young lady both on and off the field. Her work ethic is unmatched. She's the most humble, supportive person you will ever meet. When you meet her, you would never guess she's an outstanding player, as she gives credit to those around her. On the field, she leads by example and holds herself to the highest of standards. She never has an off night. She brings her best every day. Speaking for our high school, she personally raised the standards and bar for the whole program. I hope you have the chance to be around her, as she is a joy to be around. Yeah, I hope so too, Mike, because I think she could be the next great in the circle at OU. I would expect her to be a factor this season, but obviously we'll get a better look at things in the fall. And oh, by the way, an incredible hitter as well was Audrey Lowry in high school. Just an all-around fantastic softball player. This was a very important get for OU, maybe the single most important get in the 2024 class, because you're looking for that next ace in the circle. It's not easy to be that type of pitcher day one, but I'm not going to put any limitations on her as a player or a pitcher, because at every level that she's been at, she's been nothing but completely dominant. High school, summer ball, against the best competition the country has to offer, it has not mattered. She has dominated. And I love that her high school coach said that she's never had an off night. You know what that says to me? Consistency. Key word for so many young freshmen, and she's been consistent her entire career. That's big. That's very big for someone who's going to be a factor this season. So welcome to the show, Audrey Lowry. Next up is Katie McKay, a middle infielder from Caddo, Oklahoma, the number 14 player in the country by extra innings, and she won a lot of state championships. 6 state championships, to be exact. She's a winner. Simply put, in fact, in her final game at Caddo, she hit a walk-off grand slam to win the state championship in Oklahoma City. It's pretty clutch. And yeah, she's already had big hits at the home of the Women's College World Series, where she could very well be playing coming up next summer. Patty said this: she's a gamer and she's a power hitter. I've seen her thrive in the clutch moments. She's not afraid of the big spotlights. You can feel her presence as a team leader, but she's also the daughter of a coach, and you can see those coaching qualities in the way that she plays and thinks the game. I'm really excited about her future here. She may have flown under the radar on the recruiting stage, but I think she is a future All-American. Whoa. You guys heard that, right? I think she's a future All-American. Patty Gasso said that. And look, Patty doesn't say these things unless she really thinks it. In no way would she put unrealistic expectations on a kid. So that's big praise. But again, I think that she really means it. And that gets me fired up. And clearly she sees something that some didn't, because she mentioned she may have flown under the radar during the recruiting process. But an in-state kid from Caddo becoming that type of player would be an incredible story. And with Katie, here's another kid that's always dreamed of playing at OU, and one that won't let this opportunity go to waste. I don't think any of these kids will let this opportunity go to waste, but when you grow up rooting for the program and dreaming of playing for Patty Gasso and the Oklahoma Sooners, there's a special pride with that. In fact, and I think that this is so cool, she admitted that she and her family cried. They cried when Patty Gasso offered her a scholarship on her visit to Norman. That's good stuff. Katie McKay played in the Alliance Fast Pitch All-Star Game this summer, which is a really, really cool honor. And she just routinely hits the ball really hard to all fields. You'll see a clip of her from summer ball. She's hitting from the left side, and she hits an opposite field home run. And then the next clip is her pulling one from the left side over the right field wall. Power, average, speed, just impossible to get her out at the high school level. She had numbers that were routinely well above a 400 average, and it was the same way in summer ball as well. Just that player, that type of player that you know every time that she's at the plate, she's just going to hit the ball hard somewhere. It was huge praise from Patty Gasso, but I'm going to guess that she sees the total package here with McKay. And defensively, kind of the same thing. Just so solid, so consistent, but can also make that amazing play as well that you need from time to time. All I needed to hear, though, was that Patty say that she's going to be a future All-American. So how can I not think that if Patty Gasso says it? Katie McKay, just a good kid that wants to come in here, work hard, win some titles. I don't think it's going to take her very long to develop a ton of fans. Welcome to the show, Katie McKay. Next up is Tia Malloy, a middle infielder from Redmond, Washington, and the number 18 overall player by extra innings. One of the more well-known recruits in this class, well-known because of what her sisters have accomplished at Washington and Tennessee, but also because I think she's a future superstar as well. And I really believe that. Talked about the bloodline earlier with other players, but her mom was an All-American track and field athlete at Washington. Her dad won a Super Bowl in New England, some Pro Bowls in there as well, Lawyer Malloy. And we all know Washington is an excellent softball program, and they have been for a long time. So I'm sure there was a lot of pressure to go there, but she wanted to create her own path, and she picked Oklahoma. Not as easy as one might think to do that, especially when your parents are alum of that university, but a lot of credit to her for choosing her own way. But as a player, just a supremely talented athlete, highly skilled, and someone that's been around greatness and knows what it takes and knows what it looks like. Getting Tia from the state of Washington, I think, is the payoff of being the most dominant program in college softball now for several years. The Huskies are a great program, but Tia's coming here because of Patty Gasso and what she's built and maintained as well. Gasso said Tia has a great lefty swing and is very passionate about the game. She works well in the infield, but I believe she's athletic enough to play at any position. She's another one of those big-time hitters that will leave her mark on OU softball. In my pre-fall guess at the starting lineup for the 2025 season, I had Tia Malloy as the starting second baseman, and she was the only freshman I had on the opening day starting lineup. We'll see if I still have that opinion after fall ball, but everything is there for her to be a household name in this sport. I'm surprised that she was ranked as low as she did, and that's still understanding that she was the 18th best player in the country by at least one recruiting service. But I think there's signs of an elite player here. And I think there's a lot of signs of an elite player. And just someone else whose skill set is excellent in all phases. A great hitter, great defensively, and going to be heavily in the mix for that second base spot this year. Again, my prediction in August is that she wins the job and that she ends up being a 4-year starter at OU. Patty mentioned that she can play multiple positions, so maybe she starts at more than one spot in her career, or potentially even this year. but she is someone that has all the tools necessary to be great. And at the plate, here's another player that's going to be able to drop bunts. She can hit the ball in the gap, she can hit home runs, but she can bunt for base hits as well, which puts a lot of pressure on the defense. She can do it all. The defense has to be on their toes at all times when she's at the plate. And I also feel like she's a player with a lot of personality, and a personality that a lot of people are going to like. We've seen that around here recently, and she seems to be confident and pretty outgoing. Tia Malloy will do very well at OU, and one that was just a heck of a get again for this staff to get out of the state of Washington. So welcome to the show, Tia Malloy. Last up is Riley McKay, a catcher and infielder from Niles, Michigan, the number 21 player in the class by extra innings. Patty said this: Riley is a versatile athlete. She can catch, she can play shortstop, she can impact a team in a variety of different areas. I think surrounding her with this elite class will challenge her in a good way, just as it will for our entire signing class. Strength will really change her world as a collegiate athlete. I love her athleticism and her versatility. I think she can help us in a lot of different ways. So Riley, to me, is a very intriguing prospect with a lot of upside, and she's bringing her little sister along for the ride as well. Berkeley is one of the best players in the 2025 class and will be joining her sister in Norman a year from now. So two sisters on the same team at OU is something very unique and will provide a really fun storyline down the road for this program. As far as Riley goes, you see a lot of the top players and even a lot of top players in this class listed as a shortstop, primary position, secondary position, whatever. They come from high school or summer ball as a shortstop. Well, that's because normally your best players are playing at shortstop. Well, obviously at OU, you can't have four shortstops on the field at once. Jada Coleman was a shortstop when she came in and ended up being the greatest center fielder the sport has ever seen. But all that to say, it's important to be able to play multiple positions, and Riley can do that. Injuries happen at catcher. It's a very demanding position. And the fact that she can play catcher at a high level, but also other spots on the infield is a very big deal. Her high school coach, Earl Key, said this: Riley is all energy. She will lead by example and by her encouraging words. Her will to win is contagious. She has a bold personality that has people gravitating to her. Best teammate I have seen in my 24 years of coaching at the high school level. If she is struggling with anything, she won't stop working on it until she figures it out. A total leader. So another great teammate, and when you combine a great player with someone that's a great teammate, well, I think we normally know what's going to happen in that spot. Patty loves her versatility. I love her versatility as well, being able to play several positions. She has the power that you like along with that. Welcome to the show, Riley McKay. So there's an introduction to possibly the next great freshman class at OU. Who are you most looking forward to seeing out of this class? Drop your answer in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.